Sidney Gottlieb, as far as the story goes, in 1962 goes to his superiors and says, MK Ultra is a failure. Mind control and brainwashing aren't possible. And throughout the 60s, Sidney Gottlieb becomes kind of the poison expert for the CIA. There's an assassination attempt on the president of the Congo that he created a poison for that ended up being a failure kind of before it even like reached off the ground. There are several assassination attempts on Fidel Castro that he created poison for. So after 62, if you don't, MK Ultra may have been around in some form, but Sidney Gottlieb probably wasn't running the show anymore. It may have been like, for the most part, it was done, but there were still some like smaller experiments going on. Because also something that people should understand about MK Ultra is that these smaller experiments didn't realize they were part of a larger project. Like
what would that overall larger project be?
MK Ultra.
Mind control.
Yeah. Of the people in federal prison who were being told by the CIA to use LSD on their prisoners didn't realize that the CIA was also using LSD on all these other experiments. There wasn't so much connection between like the smaller experiments in MK Ultra. There wasn't so much of like a communication between everybody. A lot of these LSD experiments didn't even realize that they were LSD funded, that they were CIA funded.
You know, I'm always curious as to like how that chain of communication can remain like in a secret, essentially. Like I'm saying, like I don't understand how. Like, take for instance another thing the CIA is heavily involved in, which is a case that I'm obsessed with, which is TWA Flight 800,
right? Which
was, you know, a passenger plane out of JFK in 1996 on its way to Rome, that exploded off of Long Island. You know, the official narrative from the first of all, a plane crash, the CIA and the FBI is never involved. It's the NTSB. In this particular instance, the CIA and the FBI were involved. The FBI basically bullied the NTSB out of the investigation, and you know, the official finding is that there was a center wing tank explosion, even though there's literally hundreds of witnesses that saw it get hit with a missile. Or multiple missiles.
Yeah.
So,
most people, well, I don't know about most people. A lot of people on Long Island are very familiar.
And there's a lot of other evidence, and we won't get into it because that's not what this episode is about. But the point is, a lot of people, when they push back on the missile theory, which in my opinion is not a theory but is a fact, is that when they push back on it, they go, well, because that theory, I'll call it a theory for now, is that the U.S. Navy accidentally did it. You know, which, by the way, the U.S. Navy was in the area doing experiments. It's kind of like the lab leak theory, where it's like, well, it was right there. But anyway, they always push back on it and say like, well, like someone would know and someone would say something, but no, I mean, look at JFK. That's never been, you know, officially solved.
Right.
Look at something like this. There are ways that they can kind of, those redundancies in communication are put in there. You know, like I don't know. To me, it seems like wouldn't word get out, but for some reason,
I feel like things like this are purposely done this way, where there's very little communication,
right?
So that people can kind of, so that it's harder to piece things together.
Yeah, or it's like
if the smaller webs are not communicating with each other, then it's hard to basically form the bigger web, like try to put them together in a bigger web. But
Actually,
that might not be a great analogy.
Some mafia families operate like that. Like there's word,
exactly.
There's word that the Genovese operates exactly like that, and which is why they're successful, because even people don't even know. Some people don't even know who's made and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, it's also the sort of thing where it's like, well, if I don't tell you this, then if you're ever in a deposition or called to testify, you actually have a natural reaction, which is, I don't know this. You're not on the stand lying, which protects you from X, Y, or Z. Like, so but it's like, you would think now, especially, like, how can they possibly protect secrets in the government? But yet they do.